on. Stan Smyl in tough against, I think it's Big Bookaboom with him. Big, strong, tough rookie, and Smyl hanging on somewhat as they're scrapping right in front of the Evan goal. Bookaboom's trying to get a left hand in, but Smyl is hanging on at close quarters. And Bookaboom is trying to toss him to the ice now. Now punches him once in the side of the helmet. Smyl's helmet pops off. Now the linesmen move in. And I think it's Bookaboom who's scrapping with Smyl, although I can't be sure.
Either Bookaboom or Smith.
Oh, it's Smith.
And Smith, much bigger than Stan Smyl, gets a longer reach, obviously stronger than Stan Smyl, but Stan Smyl doing a great job of keeping in tight and of hanging on, not letting Smith get those big, long arms back to throw any punches. So Smyl did a great job in that little fight. Both players head to their dressing rooms. They'll be penalized, and we'll take a break. The score, the Oilers 3, the Canucks 1.
Match. They get 2 each for high sticking and 5 each for fighting at 13:52, so they're through till the end of the period. And the Oilers have knives. Scoring chance. And it's still a little rough out there. He's got Richter. Now the gloves might come off here. Richter and McClelland are 2 heavyweights. The gloves are coming off. They're going to get into a fight. They're in it now. But so far, Richter's, now the gloves are all off. For a moment, Richter had his off. He's trying to get McClelland's stick out of his hand. They're propped up along the boards in a close-in wrestling stance. Richter and McClelland, 2 very strong players. McClelland is a tremendous fighter. They're still along the boards. Richter throws a right hand. McClelland gets in a couple of lefts. Now they're wrestling down to their knees, and the linesmen start in to try and pry them apart.
Well, there wasn't too many punches thrown. A couple towards the end of that wrestling match. I don't think any of them connected and did much damage, but eventually they twisted each other down to the ground. So the 2 big guys get fighting oftentimes. They don't want to stand back necessarily and throw them either. Get in tight and try to get a couple of those short jabs in.
The initial outbreak was Smith and Sutter. But then when other players got involved in it, the heavyweights paired off, as so often happens. The fighter fights the fighter, and everybody else watches. And Dave Richter and Kevin McClelland wind up in a brief scrap, and they'll be through for the rest of the period.
Richter was quick to move in from that blue line position. I think that's a good move, too. Sometimes, especially if you think your man's getting the worst of it, as it looked like Sutter might because he was on the inside, as you mentioned, Jim. Why stand outside that circle and make sure the face-off is inside? Get in there, especially if you're a big, strong guy, get in there and help your teammates out, which is exactly what he did.
Well, they'll be gone to the end of the penalties. The Oilers controlling the puck in the neutral zone. High sticking and fighting. They each get 7 minutes at 14:30 of this second period. Now into the Oilers zone. Here's Quintet with McSorley. Their gloves are off. Cochrane and McSorley, 2 more heavyweights. Throwing punches. Cochrane's helmet is popping off. McSorley and Cochrane, 2 tough guys. Second fight of the period. Well, it's not like many of the Vancouver-Edmonton games. This one is turning out to be a fight night. They're getting a little tired now. Not too many telling punches. McSorley tries to get in an uppercut. Cochrane now throws him down, falls on top of him. And the linesmen now move in to try and pry away Marty McSorley and Glenn Cochrane.
Well, there were quite a few punches thrown in that. I don't think too many of them connected, although Cochrane's helmet did pop off. But eventually, Cochrane threw McSorley down to the ice, jumped on top of him. That seemed to be the end of it. I'll tell you, those 2 guys have got to be tired of it because 2 big heavyweights wrestling and throwing some punches for that length of time can really tire you out. The score, the Oilers.